Hello, welcome to Business Incorporated. I'm Ladi Williams. Coming up today, World Bank ranks Ghana 22nd in Africa in Women, Business and Law Index. And S&P downgrades Kenya's credit rating to B. And IMF hails Angola's economic reforms amid COVID-19. We'll begin this week's show with the market numbers from the African continent. Nigeria's main index began Monday's trading day in the green as the index rose 0.13% at intraday, while South Africa's GSE declined 0.35%. In Egypt, the EGX30 fell 0.13%, while Kenya ended Friday's session negative. And markets in the Gulf region were mixed at intraday, and the UAE investors' sentiments were in the red as Dubai's index declined 0.21%, while the Abu Dhabi index fell 0.11%. Elsewhere in the region, the Qatari index rose 0.48%, while Saudi Arabia's index advanced 0.32%. And European stocks edge higher today as global investors monitor progress towards the U.S. COVID relief bill against the backdrop of rising bond yields. Let's head over to Frankfurt now, where Chelsea is standing by to bring us up to speed with more developments from the European scene. Hello, Chelsea. Great to have you. So Chancellor Angela Merkel has called for more efforts to ensure gender equality on this International Women's Day. Despite being led by a female chancellor for almost 2 decades, Germany has one of the largest gender gaps in Europe. Why is that?
In terms of having a female chancellor, the numbers, when you look at them, really tell a different story. Germany has the second biggest wage gap in Europe. Women, on average, earn about 20% less than men. That has been improving a little bit over the past couple of years, but it still is a really major difference between what men and women earn. And there are a lot of different reasons for that. One is that women tend to work more part-time jobs. They tend to work in lower paid industries as well. There's a taxation system here that a lot of experts say penalize women for working, but also there's a bigger question over the culture. There's a lot of discussion over whether the culture has really changed enough so that women feel like they should be working full-time jobs again, whether that they should be sharing the burdens of say, childcare. All of that has really faced a setback due to the pandemic. We've seen many experts warning that this will be a major blow to women all over the world because of how much work this has put onto women, how many women are having to defer career goals because they now have to take on more work in terms of their children's educations and things like that. So Germany has been making efforts to try and improve representation of women. For one, on corporate boards, that has instituted a new law that should go in place this year, mandating that corporate boards include more women on them. That's as no company in Germany's DAX index has a woman as its chief executive. But the pandemic has really been a setback for gender equality around the world.
Coronavirus tests hit the market on Saturday in Germany. The government hopes that these tests will actually allow for the economy to reopen. How did the rollout go?
Well, there was quite a frenzy over these tests over the weekend. This home tests have been approved since last month, but this is really the first time we've seen them offered nationwide in more widely accessible stores. So some of the major grocery store chains around the country were offering them on Saturday, as well as some pharmacy chains. They sold out really in every spot that they were being offered at within minutes. The website of one of the major grocery store chains that was selling them actually crashed on Saturday. So it didn't last very long, this introduction of rapid tests. The government is saying that there are more on the way. We heard from the health minister last week that they've ordered about 200 million home tests, as well as 800 million rapid tests that you could take either at a testing center or potentially in the future a doctor's office or a pharmacy. But this all comes as Germany is really putting a lot of emphasis now on increasing testing. Starting today, everyone in Germany is allowed to get one free coronavirus rapid test a week. And this is really a major cornerstone of the plans to reopen the economy. At some point, they want to make getting tests a condition of, for example, eating once again in a restaurant. But it will take time to build up the infrastructure to allow this mass testing.
And we're looking at the markets now. All eyes are on the surge in oil prices after Saudi Arabian oil facilities were hit by an attack. Do investors think higher oil prices are here to stay?
Investors are definitely preparing for a longer period of high oil prices. Yesterday's attack on Saudi facilities did send prices higher, but markets are really looking at that as a short-term driver. You're already seeing oil prices come down a bit, but looking more long-term, there are a lot of reasons to think that oil prices are going to stay higher. They've already risen about 35% this year for Brent, the global benchmark, and that's because the global economy is starting to recover from this COVID plunge last year that really depressed oil demand. Once economies reopen, as manufacturing around the world starts to pick back up, we are seeing demand rising. But the major oil producers, OPEC Plus, last week decided to keep production quite low. So we're seeing demand rising, but supply is not rising as much. So that really paints an outlook for stronger oil prices in the months ahead.
All right, Chelsea, happy International Women's Day to you, and thank you for the update. So after an extremely tough 12 months, Britain's services companies are feeling more optimistic about their future prospects. Service sector confidence jumped in February to its highest level since the pandemic began. Consumer confidence is also at its highest. Let's talk to Juliana now for updates from London. Hello, Juliana, great to have you. British consumer confidence has risen to its highest level since the coronavirus pandemic started. What's driving this level of confidence?
Good afternoon, Laddie. Yeah, this is data that's been released by YouGov, which is a markets and data analytics firm. So it's not an economist's survey. This is purely on polling people that live up and down the UK. And you're right, it has shown an increase in consumer confidence by 2 percentage points. This is the first time that YouGov have seen an increase over the past 2 years. It's been put down to business activity, pent-up demand, and also the continuing positivity that's been flourishing in the UK because of the COVID-19 vaccine. And I think we've seen this, haven't we? We had the PMIs last week showing that even though there are some sectors of the economy that are still in a contraction mode, they are recovering. We are starting to see that Britain is slowly getting itself out of this hole. I think business activity is starting to get used to a lockdown. We are in our third national lockdown, and there are some sectors that are doing better than others. A lot of people said that they expected the housing market bubble to burst sometime soon. It's unlikely to be the case because stamp duty has now been extended, the stamp duty holiday, and there are these 95% mortgages that will be coming in at the beginning of next month. Lockdown restrictions are beginning to ease. We've started to see that today with children going back to school. Over the next couple of weeks, we are going to see this more and more. So there will be an opportunity for people to spend money. So perhaps, this is the U-turn that the government have been praying for over the past 12 months.
Interesting. And Andrew Bailey says there's a growing sense of economic optimism actually buttressing the confidence index. But he also cautioned that life won't return to pre-COVID normality.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much normal. That's a given that, we're all looking into a new normal. Nothing is going to be pre-pandemic. But Andrew Bailey, the Bank of England governor, he was speaking at the Resolution think tank this morning, and he was giving an overview of where the economy is heading. This comes after last week we had the Chancellor Rishi Sunak, who dished out a further £65 billion worth of COVID relief funds. Many of those funds were an extension of schemes that were already in place, like business rates holiday, the much heralded furlough scheme where the government have been paying up to £2,500 a month for people to be staying at home. That takes it up to £400 billion, nearly £500 billion of what the British government has spent. Of course, that money has to be paid back, and it will take some time. I think Andrew Bailey, as he always has said that he does back the Chancellor in giving out a lot of this money to keep the economy floating, to keep money in the back of people's pockets. But it's not as bad as what had been forecast. We got a sense of this last week from the Office for Budget Responsibility. For example, about 8 or 9 months ago, there were suggestions that unemployment could peak at 11% in this country. That's unlikely. It's still going to rise, but not more than 6.5%, which is what Andrew Bailey was saying again today. And also, when are we going to get back to the economy we once were at before the pandemic? A lot of people said that could be the beginning of 2024. Now people are saying that could be mid-2022. So it's not as bad as what people think, is what Andrew Bailey was saying earlier this morning.
Okay. And Deliveroo has finally unveiled its long-awaited plans to join the London stock market. This will surely be one of the city's biggest IPOs this year. What's the plan here?
Well, absolutely. Deliveroo, the online food giant, did deliver just a little bit more information about its planned IPO, which is likely to take place next month, although that hasn't been confirmed or denied. And it would put the Amazon-backed firm to be worth about £7 billion. I think the headlines that are grabbing London this morning are the fact that they have more than doubled the amount of transactions over the past 12 months. Again, this is all COVID related, because I think a lot more people, including me and many of our viewers in the UK, have obviously been dining out on takeaways, and Deliveroo, as well as Just Eat and a lot of the other online apps, have been very successful. There were still losses. I believe they posted about £273 million worth of losses in 2020, much better than what they posted in 2019. But that's really because they are expanding expeditiously. They're already in 800 locations and in 12 countries across the world. So the IPO is great. I've got a very short, quick statement from Shu, who is the London-based owner of Deliveroo. He says that now we take the next big step in our journey by allowing everyone to have a share in our future. That's why we're planning to take Deliveroo public here in London, the city where it all started, and we plan to offer our customers across the UK the chance to own part of the business. This will be a dual share listing. This is new to the UK, but pretty much popular across the New York Stock Exchange, where CEOs will still have a firm hand on taking control over the company, even though it is a public shared listing firm.
We'll keep tracking that IPO. And happy International Women's Day to you, Juliana. Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break now. We'll bring you more developing stories across Africa after the break. Do stay with us. And the world is marking International Women's Day with the theme Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. And this year's celebration is like no other, as countries and communities start to slowly recover from the devastating pandemic. The opportunity has come to finally end the exclusion and marginalization of women and girls. But to do that, immediate action is needed, as women must have the opportunity to play a full role in shaping the pivotal decisions being made right now as countries respond to and recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, choices that will affect the well-being of people and the planet for generations to come. Joining us now to talk about this is Priscilla Bontu, a foreign legal advisor to Boutique International law firm in New York City. Hello, Priscilla. Great to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So what are your thoughts on this year's theme? And do you think the time has come to end the exclusion of women in leadership?
Well, I think the theme this year actually highlights the tremendous efforts shown by women all around the world in shaping a more equal future and recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. Some of the most efficient and successful responses to the COVID-19 pandemic were actually led by women. In fact, women are said to be on the forefront of the battle against the pandemic, whether as healthcare workers or scientists or doctors or caregivers. However, the classic gender pay gap unfortunately still remains. And according to a study of the United Nations, for example, these women are getting paid about 11% less than their male counterparts globally. So this requires greater support and social protection for women. We must invest in gender responsive protection systems to support women's income security, for example. We must also expand access to affordable childcare services to enable women to continue to work or to actually re-enter the workforce. So overall, I think that this year's International Women's Day should serve as a reminder for all of us to work collectively towards the reversal of long-standing inequalities. And what does that mean exactly? Well, we must consider qualified and competent women for leadership positions, for example. We must avoid the unequal division of work at home. We must avoid the gender pay gap. And we certainly have to stop undervaluing the work that is generally being done by women.
So far, what progress have you seen on gender equality in your life and works as a legal advisor?
Well, as a woman of color and a legal advisor on Wall Street, I can generally say that the legal profession has always been a bit rigid and a bit slow when it comes to racial and gender equality. Data actually shows that there are about 9,000 attorneys practicing at Wall Street law firms currently. And of that total, less than 20% are women and about 20 to 25% are male partners, and only about 5% are actually female partners. However, like law firms have shown some sort of improvement over the last few years as they now offer childcare services, for example, or a more flexible work schedule for their employees who are raising children at home. But I also think that movements such as the Me Too movement have also led to the fact that a lot of male partners or male lawyers now generally feel a little bit more scared or uncomfortable or reluctant to take in female lawyers and teach them and train them on the job, which also hurts their professional growth. So I think it's still a work in progress, but I'm pretty sure that law firms have not entirely reached all of the goals that they have set for themselves over the last few years.
Now, how do you think we can address these inequalities and strike a balance in surmounting the gender bias?
Well, I think it's crucial for employers to monitor the professional development of their female employees. And by that, I mean that employers should start to actually consider their qualified female employees for leadership positions. They must start to listen to their female employees' concerns, to their female employees' needs, and pay them the equal salary. You have to be a little bit more flexible in terms of the workload, the work hours, and provide for other mechanisms in the workplace that actually promote gender equality. And if there's one thing that we all learned during this COVID-19 pandemic, it is the fact that remote work is actually a fair and reasonable alternative to working at the office, okay? So we can no longer assume that physical presence at the office for the future is necessary, or to physically be present during a certain time at the office is necessary in order to get the job done. So my hope for the future is that employers will continue to offer their employees, particularly women who are more likely to be in charge of taking care of the children at home, the option to stay at home and actually work from home.
All right, Priscilla Bonsu, happy International Women's Day to you, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
And the World Bank has ranked South Africa in first place and Ghana's 22nd out of about 53 African nations in its latest 2021 Women Business and Law Index. While South Africa came in first, the nation ranked 50th worldwide, while Ghana's score of 75% ranked her 6th in West Africa, about 119th globally. The ECOWAS region, Togo was first in terms of advancement in women, business and law, while Ivory Coast and Burkina Faso placed second and third, respectively. A better performance in the areas measured by the Women, Business and the Law Index is associated with a narrower gender gap in development outcomes, higher female labor force participation, a lower vulnerable employment, and greater representation of women in national parliament. And global ratings agency Standard & Poor's has downgraded Kenya's credit rating to B due to rising fiscal and external pressures. According to S&P, it is time for Kenya's economic managers to decrease government revenue to GDP ratio, lower the fiscal deficit, and allow Kenya and shilling to depreciate. Its Global Outlook 2021, S&P says the COVID-19 pandemic will continue to exert pressure on global credit conditions this year. The ratings agency says even if a vaccine becomes widely available by the middle of 2021, the virus's containment will remain very uneven on a global scale. And that's it on Business Incorporated. I'm Ladi Williams. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.